morning, friends. It's Joyce from Morris Patch of Heaven Homestead, and today I'm going to show you a couple things that we do on our homestead. I'm going to show you how we make kombucha, and then we are having Sloppy Joes tonight. I'm going to show you how we make our Sloppy Joe mix and how we make the buns in our bread machine. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and start with our kombucha. I fill up this pan. This is my handy dandy pan that I've been using for many, many years. The poor thing has lost the handle part on here. It is a shabby little old pan, but it still works, and this is what I use for our kombucha. So I fill it all the way, almost all the way to the top, and then I use this organic green tea. I get it at Walmart, and I use 5 bags. I just tear off the little paper part, and then I stick them all in there. It's real simple, and you know, the stuff in the store is expensive. We buy it on occasion when we're out and about, but for the most part I make it by the gallon so that everybody in the house can have some. Okay, so 5 of the organic green tea, and then I add a flavor. Today I'm going to add peach. I just thought that sounded really good. We usually do all kinds of berry flavors. Sometimes I do just straight green tea, but I thought, yummy, I'm going to do peach. I just throw 1 bag in so it doesn't end up being, you know, overpowering. Okay, so here is some of my Scobies that I keep in the fridge. This is very few. I have a ton in great big gallon jars, but this is just one that I keep in the fridge on hand when I'm making a quick batch. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, not everybody does theirs this way, but this is how I do mine. I go ahead and put my sugar in right away. Some do it after it's boiled. This way, it just kind of incorporates itself. I've always done it this way. It works just fine. And this is a cup of organic cane crystals. So it's a little more brown. As you can see, it's not, you know, as white as regular sugar, but it's good stuff and we love it. Okay, so I've got that there. My handy dandy wooden spoon, and I just give it a little stir. And when I start, I usually start with warm water. You can start with cold water, whatever works for you. And then now I'm going to stick it on the stove top, and I'm going to let it cook. And as soon as it comes to a boil, I will let it sit for a while, and then I'm going to transfer it when it is at room temperature to my glass jar and add my Scoby. Never, ever, ever add your Scoby to boiling hot water. You will kill it. So anyway, okay, I'm going to do that, and I'll bring you back when I am ready to add the Scoby. Okay guys, we're going to start on the rolls for supper tonight. These are a game changer. Once you start making these, you will forever want to make them because they're so simple. And what I do is I'm going to put all these ingredients in the bread machine, and I put it on the dough cycle. I don't ever bake in the bread machine. It's Teflon, and we prefer not to use that. So I just let it knead and do all that fun stuff, and then I take it out, and then I will put them on my cookie sheet, let them rise, and stick them in the oven. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. It requires 3 cups of all-purpose flour. And this bread machine here, by the way, is one that I picked up at a garage sale many years ago. Whenever I see a bread machine at a garage sale for like $10, yep, you'll know that I buy it because I buy for everybody. Whoever needs a bread machine, usually I have some. Okay, so 3 cups of all-purpose flour. This is a half a, so 3 cups. This is a half a cup, so we'll do that times 6. 4. It's good to count back just to make sure. 5, 6. And the nice thing about the bread machine is I always check on it. You know, as it's going along doing its thing, I will check on it. A cup of warm water. So cold that it's going to take a little bit. Okay. A cup of warm water. A teaspoon of salt. We use pink Himalayan salt. We're wanting to try the Redmond salt. I hear that that's really good as well. And then 1 beaten egg. Doesn't have to be completely beaten, but you want it beaten just so that the yolk doesn't end up in the middle of the bread. Okay. A beaten egg. And let's see here, 2 tablespoons of butter. And I just put that in cold because it gets hot and it will work its magic and melt it. If I can get the paper off. Okay, so what I do is I just cut it in 4s like so. And just put it in there. Plop. And then a 4th cup of honey. Our honey has crystallized, but that's okay. We're still using it. And I can pretty well eyeball a 4th. A little more, a little less isn't going to hurt. Okay, there we go. I would say that's about a 4th, maybe a little bit less or more. It's all good. Okay, let's see. And then 3 teaspoons of yeast. There we go, guys. That is it. It's as simple as that. It's already in there. I am now going to put it on the dough cycle, and we are good to go. There we go. It goes for a minute, an hour and a half, and it will be done. 3 minutes in, and as you can see, it's all combined already. It's nice because I can open the lid and just check it, see if it needs a little bit more flour or if it needs a little less. So far, it's looking good. Okay, guys, come on over. The dough is done. Look at that. Does that look amazing? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make rolls out of it now. You just pull it out. Put some flour on the counter, and we're just going to pull it out. Look at how elastic-y it is. Look at that. There's a little stick to it, but that's okay. We'll just add more flour. That sometimes is the issue. Sometimes it'll come out just perfect. Other times, it depends on how much gluten is in there. We have some new yeast, so it's rather sticky. Okay, so there we have it. Sticky fingers. Okay, it's not sticky anymore. I don't want to overwork it, so what I'm going to do is I just take in between my thumb and my forefinger, squeeze a piece off like that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make, like I did with my 2-ingredient bread, make little balls. This one has a few more ingredients, and this is just kind of nice when you don't have time to work on making bread. You can just stick it in the bread machine. When it comes out, all you have to do is make it into little round balls or stick it in, your bread pan, whatever you're going to be making. But since we are having Sloppy Joes this evening, I needed to make buns. So that's what I'm doing here. And so see, what you do is you just tuck the bottoms in. Just squeeze a little piece, sometimes a little bit more. so funny because when I make these, and sometimes I'll make bigger ones, they're always trying to find the bigger bun to make a bigger Sloppy Joe. So basically that's just all there is to it. I'm gonna let these do a double rise, another rise, because it did some of that in the bread machine. So I'll let this rise a second time, just for a few minutes this time. Doesn't require as much time. And then I will bake them for about 15 to 20 minutes at 350, and we will have what we call hamburger buns. So look at that, guys. Look at those. They're light and fluffy. It's really one of those things that, yeasty bread that has yeast in it, or sourdough, is definitely something that will rise a little bit better. The 2-ingredient bread doesn't rise the way this would because of the amount of yeast that's in it, but still it's just as yummy. And that can be made in a pinch. It can be made if you don't have all these other ingredients. You can still make bread. And what's nice also about that is you can make flatbread out of it. In the Bible days, when they had to bake in haste, they would make bread, unleavened bread, and they didn't have time for it to rise. They had to eat, and it had to be done in haste, so they would make bread probably like our 2-ingredient bread, and just make it and bake it. And they probably had what we call solar ovens back then. That's definitely something that I would like one of these days, to have a solar oven. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to leave those to rise, and I will bring you back when those have risen and they're ready to go in the oven. Okay, the peach tea is done. It's at room temperature. So now I am going to pour it in to our gallon jar and add our Scoby. And then what I'm going to do is, kombucha really likes the temperature to be warm in the house. So during the winter, it's a good idea to put your tea, your kombucha, by the wood stove or somewhere where it's going to be warm. So because our house tends to not stay warm throughout down here, we're going to leave it by the wood stove and it'll be done quicker. Look at that. Smells so good. The smell of tea is just amazing. I love the smell of tea. And then this peach tea in particular is really good. Okay, so it didn't fill completely to the top, but that's okay. I'm going to pick out one of our Scobies here. Here's a really nice one. This one was a circle, because it usually will make a mother the size of this entire jar. And then what I do is, with a plastic knife, never let anything metal touch it. With a plastic knife, I score it into 4s. Then I have 4 pieces. And then what I'll do is I will just drop this in there. Usually it'll float to the bottom and then come back up. This one's going to stay at the top. And it will just sit there anywhere from 7 to 11 days. Sometimes longer, depending on the temperature of your house. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little piece of muslin and put that on the top so that it can breathe, and put a rubber band around it. There you go. There's kombucha, peach kombucha, and I'm going to stick it over by our wood stove, like I said, and in 7 to 11 days, this is going to be all fermented and good to go, and we will be enjoying some peach kombucha. I'll probably end up making a few more jars because this goes really fast. And all you really need to drink is about a cup or so a day for that good bacteria for your gut. But anyway, guys, it's as simple as that. If anybody needs a Scoby, hit me up. I've got plenty. Okay, they have risen nicely. Now I'm going to put them in the oven. They've about doubled in size. Only took about 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. They're good to go. Look at that. They've come out of the oven. I brushed them with some butter, and they are going to be ready for Sloppy Joes. They smell amazing. Okay, I'm getting ready to make the Sloppy Joes right now. I want to show you how we make ours. I have some lard going in the pan right now that I'm going to put in our venison, about 2 pounds. And then we'll put some Worcestershire sauce, some organic ketchup, some mustard, some brown sugar, and we will be putting in some onion. Okay, I think it's ready for the onion. Okay, the deer meat and the onions and the garlic powder are all incorporated. Now I'm going to add some tomato paste, the brown sugar, the mustard, the ketchup, and the Worcestershire sauce. I am terrible. I do not measure. I've made this 100 times. My kiddos absolutely love it, so I just kind of dump, but I will have the recipe for this in the description box below, along with the kombucha and the rolls. So let me throw all this in here and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, there it is in all of its deliciousness. Look at that. It is as simple as an onion, a teaspoon of garlic powder. You can put 8 ounces of tomato sauce, but I usually just put in tomato paste, like 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar and 2 tablespoons of mustard, or teaspoons. I usually put tablespoons. And then Worcestershire sauce. I just, you know, like I said, I just kind of eyeball it. I've been doing this for years. I could do it in my sleep, but that's as easy as it is, and I'll have that recipe for you in the description box. Well guys, I'm going to end for now. I hope you enjoyed coming along with us today as we just did a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'm going to have those recipes in the description for you below so that you can try some of these as well. If you have not subscribed, we ask that you please do so. It really helps our channel. We're nearing 2,500 subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Give us a thumbs up, guys. Let us know that you're enjoying our videos. Sorry, that's the boys in the background having a good old time. But anyway, I'm going to end for now. Ring that notification bell. You'll be notified when we have another video. Until next time, guys, God bless you.